Alright, Texas Natural Resource Code, Title 3 for the oil and gas, Subtitle B for the conservation regulation over the gas, Chapter 89 of the Abandoned Well, Subchapter A, General Provision. Section 89.001, Policy for the Conservation and Development of all the natural resources of the state, with the declare of the public right of the duty of the office to declare of the protection of the water of the land of the state against pollution with the state of the oil, gas, and with the public interest for the exercise of the policy power state with the necessary desirable to provide additional means for the well, with the doing of the exploration, with the development, and the production of the oil and gas, the injection of the water, disposal of the wells, with the evidence dam that are leaking, salt water, oil, gas, and other deleterious substance for the freshwater formation for the surface land with the may be plugged, replugged, repaired under the authority and direction of the Commission Act 1977. Section 89.002 for the definition of the chapter well means for the whole drill for the purpose of the producing oil, gas, injection fluid with the gas on the ground, connection for the exploration, production of the oil and gas option, obtaining geological information, taken with the course of the seismic operation, producing the geothermal energy associated with the reach of the subject of the jurisdiction, radio commission in Texas. Commission in Texas, operator meaning with the person with assume the responsible for the physical operation with control of the well with the shown with the person involved with the commission. The commission approved of the commission may not require the person to assume responsibility for the well with the condition being permitted with the assume the responsibility for any other well with the event with the scale with the conveyance of the unpegged well. Unplugged well with the right of the operator for the unpegged well with the plugged well with the person caused for the being operator for the purpose of section 89.011 only if the compliance with the commission rules relating to safety, prevention, of the control of the pollution at the time of the sale of the conveyance for the only ones of the person who acquired with the well with the right of the operator of the well. A specified identified with the well as well with which the person and so with the plugging responsibility forms of the required with the proof of the commission have the commission approved of the organization report with the required in section 91.142. Have the commission approved of the bond with the letter of the credit crash deposit under section 91.103 with the 91.107 covering the well, place for the well with compliance with the commission rule with the non-operator meaning with the person who with the operating work with the interest well with the time of the well with required to plug, pursuant with the commission of the rule with the non-operator defined with the subdivision 2 of the selection commission meaning with the railroad commission. Well, say equipment means any of the production related to the equipment or materials specific to the well being plugged with, including motors, pump, the pump jacket, the tank battery, separate suppressor for the casting, tubing, the railroads, lease meaning with the lease of which well made with the subject with the plugging contract located with the delinquent inactive wells meaning with the active well for the which for the after notice of the opportunity for the hearing of the commission with an extent of the plugging deadline with the plugging includes replugging the cost calculation of the plugging inactive well meaning with the commission calculated with the cost of each of the foot with the well depth of the plugging days to active the actual plugging cost of the wells reported from convention for the procedure state with official year for the convention or for the gas distinct division district in which for the inactive well is located in the enhanced oil recovery project with the main for the convention improve the project for the displacement oil for the hydrocarbons from the reservoir with the primary recovery include the use of the immiscible, the chemical, thermal, and biological profit of the certified project described in section 202.054 tax code. Any other project provided approved by the commission enhanced for the oil recovery does not include the water disposal project. Good faith of the claimant to mean for the factual support of the claims based with the reckoning of the legal theory with the continuing processary rights of the mineral state with the most evidence of the concurrently valid oil, gas leak, the recorded date conveying of the fee interest of the mineral state with the inactive means with the unplugged well that has been reported production limited disposal injection either permitted activity period greater than 12 months physically terminated electrical surface of the well production sites of the means of the electrical surface of the inactive of the well site with the disconnect with the point of the electrical surface line with the most distant the production site toward the main supply of the line manner with which the interfere with the electrical side with the adjacent operation including with the cathodic production units. Term operator and non-operator defined in this section does not apply with the royalty interest owner overriding royalty interest owner Acts 1977 and amended Acts 2009. Section 89.003 applicable to the prisoner with the chapter although the cause of the action arising before August 30th, 1965, Acts 1977, subchapter B with the duties of the plug well with the 89.001 duty of the operator well shall property plug with the well with the required with the accordance with the commission rule with effect of the time of the plugging is usable qualified water of the zones present of the operator shall vary for placement of the plug at the top base of the deepest of the freshwater zone required to protect the well is considered to be the property plug properly plugged and only with a verification for satisfactory meet the commission requirements. See if the user with the surface zone of the operator well plugs well back with the reduce for the freshwater due for the operator with the property plug with the well ends only when the well has been properly plugged within accordance with the commission requirement with the surface zone of the deployment of the permit well with the groundwater conservation district if applicable subsection B and C with the apply with the wells plugged with the after effective date with the act with the duty of the personal plug with the unplugged well have the case operation ceased operation end with the person interested in the well with the soul with the conveyed well with the complying with the rules of the commission relating to the safety and prevention of the control of the pollution provision section 89.002 with the A2 with the A and D have been met with the person inquiring with the seller's interest through such of the scale of the conveyances to exceed the sellers and operators as well. For the purpose of plugging responsible to be one provision section 89.002 A2 AD has been met actions 1970 amended in 1993. Section 89.012, duty of the non-operator. If the operator well fails to comply with 89.011 of the scope of each of the non-operator responsible for the proportionate share of the cost of the property for the plugging with the well for the reasonable time and according to the rule of the commission, in fact, with the time of the responsibility attaches. 1977, subpart B1, plugging with a certain inactive wells, 89.021, applicable to the subject does not apply to the bay offshore well defined in the commission rule that added in the activity Acts 2009. Section 89.022, plugging inactive wells required except for provided in section 89.2.023. For the data of the operator required to renew the operator's organization report required in section 91.142, the operator with the inactive well must plug well according to the statute commission rules and effect at the time of the plugging that was with the subsection A of the person assumed with the responsible physical operation control of the existing inactive well must satisfy the requirements of section 89.02023A1 and 3. No later than 6 months after the date of the commission approved of the initial form described in section 89.002A2 with the file of the commission under the person assuming the responsibility for the well. The commission may not renew or approve of the organization report required in section 91.142 with the operator failed to comply with the requirements of the subchapter before the commission issues order refusing to renew for the organization report of the subsection should be the authorized commission employed with the person designated by the commission for the purpose of the determination when the operator have failed to comply with the requirements of the subchapter. If the authorized commission employed with the designated by the person determined the organization report for the due does not qualify for the renewal of the ground with the authorized commission employed with the designated person must 1. Notify the operator of the determination provided the operator written statement that the reason for the organization report does not qualify for renewal. 3. Notify the operator with 90 days to comply with the requirements of the chapter after the expiration of the period specified by the subsection D3 of the authorized commission employed with the designated person shall determine whether the organization report will qualify for renewal with the notify the operator of the determination of the authorized commission employee or designated person determined that the organization report does not qualify for the renewal because the operator has continued to fail to comply with the requirements of the subchapter. The operator does not. The operator not later than 30 days after the date of the determination may request for the hearing regarding the determination. The operator shall pay the cost associated with the hearing requested under the subsection. After the commission determines the filing of the hearing that the operator has failed to comply with the requirements of this subchapter, the operator failed to file with a timely request for the hearing. The commission may order to shall refuse to renew the organization report. The organization report remains in effect until the commission orders become final, added in Acts 2009, amended with Acts 2011. Section 89.023 with the extension of the deadline plugging inactive well. The commission may with the grant with the extension of the deadline with the plugging inactive well. The operator remains for the current organization report. The commission with the requirement of section 91.142 with the if and on before the date of the renewal of the operator with the organization report with the requirement of that section. The operator filed with the commission the applicant for the extension include the affirmation with comply with the section 89.029. Assuming that the operator has on the request of the will provide the evidence of the good faith claim for the continuing right of the operating well, at least one of the following documentation since the preceding date of the operator's organization report will require to renew the operator plug with the restore of the active operation with the defined with the commission rule with the known inactive wells equal to greater than 10% of the number of inactive wells operated with the operator on the date, and abandon to the plugging report on the form of the proof of the commission that in this form of the certification signed by the person licensed with the Texas Board Professional Engineer for the Land Surveyor for the engineer or a Texas Board Professional Geoscientist including an affirmation of the licensed person of the well has one reasonably expiration with economic value exceeding the cost of plugging the well for the duration period of the coverage with a report based on the cost calculation plugging an active well with a reasonable expectation of being restored to beneficial use of the well, prevent with the waste of the oil of the gas source of the resource of the otherwise would not produce the well were plugged in or appropriate documentation to demonstrate the base of the affirmation of the well's future utility. 3. Specify the field of the cover of the well, the field of the format with the described of the commission statement that the well is part of the enhanced oil of the recovery project. If the operator of the well is not currently authorized, require the commission rule with the order to conduct the fluid of the hydraulic pressure test of the well, the documentation of the rest of the result of the successful fluid level of the hydraulic pressure test of the well conducted in accordance with the commission rules in for the time test was conducted, supplement with the bond letter of the credit of the cash deposit efficient each of the well specified with the application that 1. Comply with the requirements of Chapter 91 is the amount with the less equal to the cost of the calculation plugging an active well for each of the wells specified with the application. After the documentation for the deposit for the commission with each time of the operator filed with the application with the amount with the escrow fund for the prescribed with the commission rule that equals at least 10% of the total cost of the calculation of the plugging an active well for each well specified in the application. If the operator is publicly traded, any of the following documentation, a copy of the operator's federal rule of the document 12 to comply with the Financial Accounting Standard Board, Statement number 143, Accounting Assessment of the Retirement Obligations, and the original executed Uniform Commercial Code Form 1 Financing Statement available to the Secretary of State that names the operator as the debtor of the Railroad Commission with the taxes as secured creditor and the specified with the funds of the document prescribed with the subparagraph A with the amount with the cost calculation plugging in an active well with each of the well specified in the application blank bit behind of the amount with the lesser of the cost of the calculation plugging in an active well with the $2 million notwithstanding subsequent subsection. An operator may not obtain with the extension of the deadline with the plugging in an active well with the complying with the subsection of the plugging in the well is otherwise requiring compliant commission rules or orders added in Acts 2009 amended in Acts 2011-19. A Section 89024 abeyance a plugging report. Abeyance of the plugging report filed within Section 89023A3B is valid for a period of not more than 5 years. The abeyance of the plugging report may cover the more than one well field may not cover the more than one field. Abeyance plugging report may not be transferred to the new operator existing inactive well, but the new operator of the existing inactive well must file with a new abeyance plugging report, otherwise comply with the requirements of the chapter before a deadline provided in subsection 89022B. But this subsection does not prohibit the transfer of the abeyance of the plugging report with the chain with the name of an operator. Operator who filed with the abeyance of the plugging report must annually pay fees of $100 for each of the well covered. The report of the fee collected under the section should be deposited within the Oil Gas Regulation Cleanup Fund Act of 2009, amended Acts 2011 and 2011, and Section 89025 of the Enhanced Oil Recovery Project for purpose of Section 89023A3C with an act of the well concerned with the to be part of the Enhanced Oil Recovery Project for the well located in the unit of lease for the field associated with the project. Same with the inactive well as a part of the Enhanced Oil Project Recovery Project for the transfer of the new operator over the existing inactive well. The new operator of the existing inactive must well new statement of the well as part of the study for the project, otherwise comply with the requirements of the subject before the deadline provided in subsection 89022B. Subject does not prohibit the transfer of the statement of the well as part of the Enhanced Oil Recovery Project with the event with the change of the name of the operator added in Acts 2009 amended with 2011. Section 89026 of the fluid level of hydraulic pressure test. The documentation filed under Section 89023A3D with the result of the successful fluid level test valid for a period of 1 year for the date of the test. The documentation filed under the section of the result of the successful hydraulic pressure test is valid for the period of not more than 5 years from the date of the test. For the operator must notify the Office of the Commission Oil Gas Division District in an active well is located with at least 3 days before the day of the operator conducts the fluid level of the hydraulic pressure test of the well. May not conduct the test without approval of the Office of the Commission. May require the test be witness commission employee. Documentation result of the successful fluid level of the hydraulic pressure test may be transferred to the new operator with existing inactive well. For the operator filed with the documentation described with the subsection A may pay an annual fee of $50 for each of the well cover. The documentation of the fee collected under the section shall be deposited with the Oil of the Gas Regulation Cleanup Fund added Acts 2009 to amended Acts 2011. Alright, Section 89027, supplemental financial assurance of the supplemental bond letter of the credit cash deposit file within 89023A3E. In addition to any of the financial assurance of the other required of the operator file of the well, the supplemental bond letter of the credit of the cash deposit may not be transferred to the new operator with existing inactive of the well, with the new operator with existing inactive of the well, with the must file with the new supplemental bond letter of credit with the cash deposit otherwise comply with the requirements of the subchapter by the deadline provided in Section 89022B. Add Acts 2009, amended Acts 2011, Section 89028, screw funds. The screw funds described in Section 89023A35A3F must be deposited with the Commission each of the time of the operator filed with the application for the extension of the deadline with the plugging in active well. Escrow fund with the deposit with the Commission may be released only with approval of the Commission as prescribed with the Commission rules. Added Acts of 2009, added and amended Acts of 2011. Section 89029, affirmation regarding service requirements. Application for the extension for the deadline with the plugging in active of the well must be included with a written affirmation by the operator. The operator may physically determine if the electrical service of the well produced the site. See if the following applicable. The operator does not know its own surface of the land which well is located. If the well has been inactive for at least 5 years, but not less than 10 years of the day of the renewal of the operator organization report that the operator has emptied, purged, or production fluids with all the pipe in the tank of the vessel, for the equipment associated with the inclusive of the well. If the well has been inactive for at least 10 years, if the day of the renewal of the operator organization report of the operator has removed all the strip of the process of the equipment related to the piping, tank, batteries, pump, jack, with the handers, fence of as well as the junk and the trash as defined with the commission rule with associated with the blood, the excessive exclusive to the well. Operator inactive of the well shall leave with a clearly visible mark of the wellhead over the well. The commission shall adopt the rule for the regulating of the transfer of the material described in subsection A2B within restricting accumulation of the active leaf. If it was not within the subsection A, the operator may be eligible for the temporary extension of the deadline for the plugging in and active of the well with a temporary exemption from requirements of subsection A, but provided with the commission rule that if the operator is unable to comply with the requirements of the subsection because of the safety concern of the required maintenance of the well site, and the operator include with the application of the written affirmation of the facts regarding with the safety concern of the maintenance, then the operator of the may be eligible extension for the deadline with the plugging the well without complying with the subsection A2B with if the well is located on the unit with the lease or field with the associated with an enhanced well recovery project with the operator with include with the statement in the written affirmation that the well is part of the such of the project. The exemption provided by the subsection only apply for the equipment required for the project, notwithstanding the other provision of the subchapter of the commission shall adopt the rule providing for the phase-in of the duty to comply with the subsection A2B over the period of 5 years beginning with September 1st, 2010, with the rules required of the operator of the 1/5 of the wells are subject for the subsection, and each year of the phase-in period to comply with the subsection Acts 2009. Section 89.030, revocation of the extension of the deadline for the plugging inactive well of the commission of the may revoke the extension of the deadline for the plugging of the inactive well granted under this subchapter if the commission determines after the notice and for the opportunity for the hearing with the applicant is eligible for the extension under the commission rules or orders. Added Acts 2009. Subchapter C, powers and duties of the commission. With the determining of the proper plugging, with it comes with the attention of the commission as well, but they have done abandoned, but not been operative with the causing, with the likely to cause of the pollution with the fresh water above the below of the ground, but if the gas or oil with the escaping from the well, the commission may determine with the hearing after due notice whether or not the well has been properly plugged or provided in subsection 89.011 and section 89.012 of this code acts for the 1977 amended lastly in the 1983. 89.042 for the commission ordered to plug with it if the commission find with the well was not properly plugged with it showed order for the operator to plug with the well according with the rule of the commission in effect at the time order issued. If the operator cannot be found out that it is no longer with the existence of the no assets with the way they properly plug with the well, the commission shall order with the non-operator to plug with the well according with the rule of the commission in effect at the time of the order issued. Repeal Acts for the 1983, Section 19 Acts 1997, and amended in 1983, Section 89.043, plugging by the commission of the commission determined the hearing under Section 89.041 of the scope of the well has not been properly plugged with the needs to be plugged with the commission through with its employed with the real person acting as with the agent for the commission may plug with the replug with the well if the well is properly plugged according to the rule of the fact of the time of the well was abandoned or ceased to be operated with neither the operator nor the operator properly plugged the well with neither the operator nor non-operator can be found, neither the operator or non-operator assets which have the properly to plug the well. If the well with leaking salt water, oil with gas, or likely to leak salt water, oil or gas leakage will cause the likely to cause a serious threat of the pollution or the injury to the health of the emission through the employee with the agent may direct with the operator to make the remedial action of the plug of the well with the made plug with the replug of the well without holding the hearing under Section 89.041 of this code of the giving the notice under subsection C of this section. Seeing no later than 30 days before the day of the commission entry of the contract with the plug with the delinquent and inactive of the well, the commission shall send with the notice of the certified mail to the operative of the well with the draft of the last report of the commission with this requirement section 91.41.42 of the commission rule with the notice shall direct for the operative to plug with the well and shall state that the commission may plug with the well and foreclose with the statutory lien under the section 89.083 but unless the operative requests the hearing without later than the 10th day of the day of the operative received the notice. If the commission foreclose within statutory lien under section 89.083 with all well site equipment will be presumed to have been abandoned by the commission or omitted disposal of the equipment. Hydrocarbons from the well is provided in section 89.085. If the commission plugs with the well, the commission by order of the may require the operator to reimburse for the commission by plugging the cost of the may requisite of the Attorney General file suit with against the operator to recover these costs. The commission has statutory lien on all the well site equipment under section 89.083 and lien described by the subdivision 4 with the foreclosure of the operation of the law. If the commission does not receive the value of the timely required for the hearing before the 15th day of the day of the notice of the mail of the operator of the well may be the subject of the prior of the commission final order directing the plug it be plugged and not until the second hearing under this section. The Commission shall file with the record with a copy of the notice of the office of the county of the clerk of the county in which the well is located. The notice filed within the county needs not to be acknowledged with a copy of the notice filed within the office of the county clerk with the must contain with a section of the block with a survey of the abstract number when available to the Commission with the land of which the well is located. The clerk shall record with the notice of the real property records of the county. But the county commission shall not be charged fees for filing or recording the notice of the Commission shall furnish a copy of the notice for the holder of the lien on the well with the non-operative of the personal request. For the purpose of the title insurance policy for the issue under the authority of the Title 11 and insurance code of this notice for the notice of enforcement of violation of law with the ordinance of the governmental regulation unless notice contains legally sufficient description of the specific land on which the well is located. At the request of the Commission, the Attorney General may file suit within forth of the area and an order issued by the Commission under the subsection C3A of the Act 1977 amended lastly in 2005. Section 89.044, right to enter on the land. The Commission that is employed by the agents, operative, the non-operator, or the property identification manager of the land of another for the purpose of plugging and replugging the well has not been properly plugged. Prospective operator has been authorized under Section 89.047 to conduct the survey inspection of the well of the proper identification manager of the land, either in another for the sole purpose of conducting the inspection. Acts 97 amended within Acts 2005. Section 89.045, liability for the damage commission that is employed by the agent, operative, the non-operator, or not liable for any of the damage may occur with the result of the act done with the omitted to be done with by each of the time with the good faith of the effort with the carry out of the chapter. Acts 1997 amended 1983, Section 89.046, penalty for the other relief of the plugging or the replugging of the well with the Commission does not prevent the Commission from receiving the penalty for the other relief provided by the law for any person who is required by the law adopted by the Commission, the valid order of the Commission to plug with the well acts for the 1983. 89.047 orphan well reduction program, and in this program the depth of the well meaning the vertical depth of the well is measured with a linear feet with the surface of the lowest preparation of the casing of the well, which within the Commission designated the correlative interval for the field for which the well is issued with the permit. The operator with the good standing mean with the operator who is not has Commission approved the organization report with his designated operator at least one well with the jurisdiction of the Commission has filed with the Commission under Section 91.104 with the bond letter with the credit cash deposit and amount with sufficient qualified for the operator one or more with additional well that is not subject to the Commission or with the court to regard with the violation of the Commission rule with which operator has not complied with the complaint that has been docketed by the Commission alleging the violation of the Commission rule of the orphaned well means a well for which the Commission has been issued a permit for the production of oil with the gas of the activity under the jurisdiction of the Commission has not been reported with the Commission for the preceding 12 months, whose operator commissioning approved of the organization report has labbed the producing well with the means wells classified by the Commission as an oil with the gas well in accordance with the Commission rules. 5. Surface wells means of the well for the which the Commission issued the permit for the not producing well term includes injection disposal of the brine mining well. Or B, a person who can serve with the assumption of the operatorship of the regulatory responsibility or for the well may nominate with the well under consideration filing request of the form prescribed by the Commission, notifying the Commission with its person. See for the authority to conduct the surface inspection of the well to determine the well of the person desired designated by the Commission and the operator of the well. If the person is the operator with the good standing of the well is not already subject to the nomination, the Commission shall accept the nomination, issue the written confirmation for the person with authority to conduct the surface inspection of the nominated well with a stay of the period of not exceed 30 days. A person to whom the confirmation is issued on the subsection sheet may conduct the surface inspection of the well, the person may deliver the written note to the owner of the record of the surface to stay with them any occupant of the track of the which well is located with at least 3 days before the day of the inspection, with the notice of the which identified by the orphan well, state with the name of the address of the telephone number of the person, state with the day of the person intended to conduct the surface inspection, state with the name of the latest one representative of the person who will participate in the surface inspection, state with the person intended to inspect the orphan well in accordance with the section for the purpose of assessing current status of viability of the well and conducting the surface inspection of the orphan well. Whether the person may be visually inspect with the well with all related equipment is obtained with the other facility that may conduct with the non-invasive testing, such as for the E, the gauge, of the determining of the pressure gauge, present at the wellhead, with the not produce oil with the gas from the well, with the re-enter of the well, with the pull tubing from the perform any other type of downward downhole work on the well with the duct and salvage the operation over the well, remove any tangible item with the well site. Commission shall designate the person as the operator of the well, as the person within the commission. Faculty supported with a claim based on the record of legal theory with the continuing possessory right within the mineral estate with the success for the well, with the success for the evidence of the current oil with the gas leak, the recorded deed, conveying a fee of the interest given to the mineral estate with the completed certificate of the compliance non-refundable fee of the amount of $250, a fee collected under subsection F that shall be deposited to the credit general revenue fund, but it must be appropriated only with the commission to be within enforced the laws and rules concerning oil and the gas conservation, waste, and pollution prevention. Person who is designated the operator of the orphan well with only on and after January 1st, 2006, no later than December 31st, 2007, is entitled to receive the non-transferable exemptions for the taxes for all future production from the wells provided as by Section 202.060 Tax Code. Non-transferable exemption from the fees provided in Section 81, 116, and 117 for all forfeiture productions from the well, and repayment from the commission is amount of the equal of the depth of the well multiplied by the 50% of the each of the foot of the well with the depth of the no later with the third anniversary of the day of the commission. The designated the person of the operator of the well with the person bringing the well back with the continuous activity of operation of the plug well in accordance with the commission rules, as well as conservative being with the continuous activity of the operation for the purpose of subsection H5E3 as well as producing well with the produce at least for the 10 barrels of the oil with the 10 micro cubic feet of gas per month, at least for the 3 consecutive months of the shown with the records of the commission, be authorized by permanent issue of the commission, or well as active service well with the well has been used for the disposal of the injection oil with the gas waste for the other purpose related with the production oil gas for at least 3 consecutive months shown with the record of the commission as the authorized of the permanent issue by the commission. For the commission shall make payments for the operator only with the subsection H3 for the annually with the same order for the commission determined for the operator to be entitled to those payments for the greater amount of the payments of the same official for the year of the under for the subsection may not exceed $500,000. An operator may not receive the more than the one payment under the subsection for the same well, or cumulative payments amount will exceed the amount with the bond with the letter of the credit of the cash deposit the operator has filled with the commission under section 91-104 added to Acts 2005. Section 89-048, plugging with the well with the strip of the state owner. A, the section of the wharf of the well that has meaning at time with the section 89-047. Owner of the interest of the state with the track of the land with the orphan well with the locate with the main track contract with the commission approve of the well plug with the well with the surface of the state with the owner of the entry of the contract the under the subsection B with the well plugger shall with no later than 30 days before the day with the well is plugged with the name notice for the intent of the plug with the well. 2 for the operator as well with the operator address as shown by the record of the commission. Assume the responsible physical operation for the control of the well is shown as for the form of the person filed with the commission. The commission improves. Files on the bond with the layer of the credit of the cash deposit with the covering of the well is required in section 91-107 the plugs in the well in accordance with the commission rule with the unsuccessful plugging of the well plug with the server as stated. Owner may submit with the documentation to the commission when the call for the well plugging operation. The commission shall reimburse the server to the estate owner for the money of the oil of the gas regulation cleanup fund with the amount with the not to exceed 50% of the leaser of the document with the well plugging cost for the average cost of the incurred with the commission and with the proceeding of the 24 months of the plugging similar with the wells located in the same general area. Commission shall adopt any of the rules reasonably necessary to implement this section. Added Acts 2005, amended Acts 2011. Alright, subchapter D, cost of plugging wells, section 89-081, call for the action of the disapportionation share of the call for the, if the operator with the non-operator only with the partial of the interest of the well, for the oil, for the gas, and operator with the non-operator pay for the larger portion with the call for the plugging of the well, within his proportionate interest in the well, for the oil and the gas, he has the call for the action again for the other operator with the non-operators for their proportionate share within the cost of the plugging acts for the 1997 amended in 1983. Section 89-083, first lien of the equipment account for the action for the commission rule of the A for the well of the business not been plugged by the deadline with the plugging established by the commission rule of the state had the first lien with the superior all of the pre-existing subsequent liens security interest on the operators of the non-operators interest of the well site equipment of the amount with the total cost for the remove the well site with equipment from the well plugging with the well with the transporting storing with the depositing the well site with equipment the lien arrived with the date with the well is required to be plugged with the commission rule of the lien may be to foreclose with the judicial act of the commission order with any time after the notice of the opportunity for the hearing. If the notice mailed under Section 89043, if the lien was not previously foreclosed, if the lien is foreclosed by operation of law with the 15th day of the day of the notice of the mailed address, unless the commission has received the valid timely request for a hearing before the date of the commission is not required to give the notice for the opportunity for the hearing to be subordinate lien holder non-operative before foreclosing the lien. The lien extinguished if the well is plugged with the otherwise brought with complying with in accordance with the commission with the rule by anything authorized to do so before the commission enters into the plugging contract with lining. The lien is extinguished as to any other well site. The equipment of lawfully removed with any of the person over the other than the operative of the non-operator and pursuing the lien lease for the judgment written contract with the security agreement before the commission sent the notice under Section 89043C, but the person may not remove from the inactive well site with any of the equipment necessary to prevent the well from serving as a conduit for the passage of the oil, gas, salt water, oil for the gas, waste for the fresh water, for the one straight, and for the formation to another, the or from the surface downward, except in the course of the plugging in accordance with the commission rules. If the commission plugs the well under Section 89043 through 89044 of the scope of the state of the cover of the action for all of the reasonable expense for the incurred for the plugging and the replugging of the well, not recovered under Section 89085 of the scope of the roof of the reimbursement of the commission for the cause of the action, firstly against the operator to be secured, first lien superior over all the pre-existing subsequent lien for the security, interest for the operator, interest for the oil, for the gas line, for the fixture of the machinery, the equipment of the found, with the use of the land, with the well is located, and second again, if the non-operator at the time of the well should have been plugged to secure the lien of the non-operator, interest of the oil, gas, and land. The operator may be made with the party defendant if the suit against the operator of the commission, and by order of the may require the operator any of the non-operator reimburse the commission for all reasonable expense if it's incurred from the plugging of the well, or may request the Attorney General file suit against the operator, non-operator, recover the expense of the sale, the request of the commission for the Attorney General may file suit within enforce the order issued by the commission under subsection H1. Money collected in suit under this section shall be deposited with the oil and the gas regulation, clean up on the civil action and the reimbursement under the section of the borough of the tribe of the county, with the county with which the plug well is located over the county in which any of the defendant reside of the Act 1977 amended all the way up until 2011. Section 89084 of the money is paid with the commission with the private person of the commission. They accept the money with the private person, you with the money to plug with the replug with the well, with the paying of the money with the commission, the non-admission. If the person paying with the money is obligated to plug with the replug with the well, the evidence of the person has paid with the money with the commission, the not admissible against the person in suit with which for the person's obligation to plug with the well is an issue for the introduce the evidence of the compulsory ground with the mineral. Section 89085, possession of the sale of the equipment to cover the plugging costs of the when the commission with the foreclosure of the lien under the Section 89083 of the delinquent and active well site equipment with any of the count with the hydrocarbon well with the scroll of the lesser presumed to have in the man with it and dispose of the commission in the commercially reasonable manner by either both of the following methods: enter for the plugging the contract will provide for the person plugged for the cleaning up of the pollution, both the well take of the title of the well site with equipment of hydrocarbons from the well with the area stored from the leaf of the hydrocarbons required during the plugging operation in exchange for the sum of the money deducted out of the credit for the contract pricing. So on the well site, equipment for the hydrocarbons for the wells is stored on the lease of the hydrocarbon recovered during the plugging operation for the public action and with the public private sale of the commission shall assign with the separate account with the remove of the well site with the plugging of the well, the transportation from the deposing of the well site equipment. Commission shall display of the well site, the equipment of the hydrocarbons under the section of the price of the value with the reflect with the generally recognized with the market value with the equipment and the hydrocarbon with the allowance of physical condition. The commission shall deposit the money received from the sale of the well site with the equipment of the hydrocarbons over the section with the card over the oil with the gas regulation with the cleanup fund, and with the commission shall separately with the account for the money with the credit received with each for the well. Person who require for the well site the equipment of the hydrocarbons over the sections by sale of the contract received with a clear title with free with all the prior legal equatable claims of whatever nature whatever the perfected and calculated. No later than 30 days after the way the well site the equipment of the hydrocarbons is disposed of under the section of the commission shall mail a notice for the first class mail to the operator of the well address the last reported with the commission and the required section 91-142 of the scope of the commission rules, and on the request of the lien holder non-operative notice required with the subsection F of the section must include the lease name of the well, number of the county of which the well is located, extra of the number of the property in which the lease is situated, the commission leave the gas well, identification number, the dwelling permit number, list of the property disposed of under the section 7 of the statement that any of the person with the legal with the equatable ownership of the security interest in the equipment of the hydrocarbon hydrocarbon that was existence and the date of the commission foreclosed with the statutory lien may file with a claim with the commission no later than 180 days after the day of the well site equipment. The hydrocarbon is disposed of under this section of the commission shall publish with the notice of the state, lease number of the well, number of the county within which the well was located, the commission lease for the gas well with the identification of the number of the dwelling and permit number. Equipment and the hydrocarbons after the applicable from the well with the leaf of the where disposed of under the section that any of the personal legal or equatable ownership of the security interest in the equipment. Hydrocarbons that was existence on the day of the commission foreclosed with the statutory lien may file with the claim with the commission. Commission shall publish for the notice required under subsection H for the section of the newspaper the general circulation from the county in which the lease been located. A single notice with the containment of the information required with more than one well police or with the notice given under the section following with the plugging of the well and combined with the notice given under section 91.115 of the section of this code following with the cleanup site with the facility, and that was added in 1985 and amended in 2011. Section 89086, the claim against the oil and the gas regulation and cleanup on with the person with legally equatable with the ownership security interest of the well site with the equipment with the hydrocarbons as well with under Section 89085, and they may make a claim against the oil and the gas regulation cleanup on unless the element of the transaction given in right with the interest that occurred with the commission of the foreclosure with the statutory lien under Section 89083. Commission shall adopt the form with which the person may file with a sworn claim with the commission with the claimant with the must identify with the well site with the equipment of the hydrocarbons which the claimant have the interest and state with the amount with the properly interest of the date with the commission foreclosure with the statutory lien under Section 89083 with the commission with the may require with the person included with a claim documentation of the substantiate with the claim with the disclosure of the well with the claimant it was an operator with the non-operator's well with the well. Commission may set with a hearing with the receipt of the evidence of the claim filed with one of the section of the commission shall notify the claimant of the date and the time and the place of the hearing. If the commission hold the hearing, the commission shall issue decision of the claim and statement of the findings of fact with include the substance of the evidence heard with the conclusion of the law with the support of the decision. The commission shall consider the validated claims of the order when the claims are filed. The commission shall suspend the amount of money with the oil gas regulation cleanup fund equal to the amount of the claim until the claim is finally resolved. The provision of subsection K that prevent the suspension full amount of the claim of the commission shall treat the claim into two consecutively filed claims, one of the amount with the funds available for the suspension and the other for the remaining amount of the claim. A claim may be made on behalf of the operator of the non-operator as well with the successor for the rights of the operator of the non-operator with the subject of the retaliable the deduction from the proceeds credited received with the well site of the equipment with the cover of the cost of the incurred with the commission with the removing the equipment with the hydrocarbons of the well with the transportation storm with the deposed with the equipment of the hydrocarbon claim made by the person who is not operating with the non-operator non-operator subject to the retaliable the deduction for the cost incurred by the commission with the removing the equipment from the well if the claimant or the person who was responsible under law with the commission rule for the plugging in the well with the cleanup of the pollution originating on the leaf if the claimant owes the penalty assessed by the commission or the court with the violation of the commission with the rule for the order with the person nation may recoup from offset against the valid claim with an expense incurred with the oil with the gas regulation cleanup fund but does not otherwise reimburse any of the penalties owed. Amount of recouped from the deducted from the offset against the claim under the section subsection shall be treated as an individual portion of the claim shall remain suspended in the oil with gas regulation cleanup fund with the banner provided with the subsection J. With the commission find with the claim to be valid with the whole of the part of the commission shall pay with the valid portion of the claim and the suspend with the amount with the oil with the gas regulation cleanup with the funds no later than 30 days after the day with the commission with the decision of the commission find with the claim with the invalid within the whole of the or in part with the commission shall continue with the suspend with the oil with the gas regulation cleanup with the fund amount with the equal to invalid portion of the claim until the period of the during with the commission of the decision may be appealed with the as expired if the appeal during the period of the case is under judicial review. If found the appeal with the district court found with the claim with the valid with the whole or in part of the commission shall pay valid portion of the claim of the suspended amount with the oil with the gas regulation cleanup on that later than 30 days after the day of the court's judgment becomes unappealable. On the day of the commission the decision is not subject to the judicial review. The commission shall relieve from the suspended amount of the oil and the gas regulation cleanup fund amount with the claim held to be invalid if the greater of the claim is paid money suspended with the relief of the well side of the equipment with the hydrocarbons for the particular with the well equals with the total of the actual perceived of the credited reliable from the disposition of the equipment of the hydrocarbon oil gas regulation cleanup fund is not liable to subsequently who file the claims of the relay with the same equipment of the hydrocarbons unless until the commission releases from the suspended amount of money derived from the disposition of the equipment of those hydrocarbons. If the commission releases the money for the commission shall suspend money for the amount of subsequent filed claims order of the filing. A person who informed of the potential claimant with the unpotential claimant may be entitled to the filing a claim under this section filed with the claims on the behalf of the claimant may not contract with the receiver from the claimant and serve the services amount with greater than 10% of the paid claim. Added Acts 1993, amended in 2011. Section 89-087 of the Judicial Review of the Commission decision, immunity for the criminal suit, for the liability claim, and agree with the liability of the Commission decision, for the claim and the appeal of the decision, the District Court of the Travis County, before the 60th day after the day of the decision was issued, if the Commission does not decide. Claim 90 day after the day with the file with the claimant, it may be appealed with the 60th day period beginning with the 91st day after the filing judicial review under the section of the trial de novo. No interest accrued with the claim before appeal with this file within the section. To the extent of the extent of the permitted within this chapter of the notwithstanding any other provision of the law of the Commission with the employee with the agent of the state of the taxes immune from this suit. From liability based on the disposition well cited, equipment of the hydrocarbon in the accordance with the chapter of the Act of 1993, section 89-088, with the record of the request for the notice of the lien hold for the non-operator form fee. Commissioner shall maintain the record of the request for the notice of the lien hold for the non-operator on section 89-043, 89-085, of the close of 5 years after the date of the Commission receipt of the request. Commissioner shall prepare the form of the request for the notice of the Commission shall require the person who requests the notice for the form of the information for the identified of the lease. Cover the request of the Commission may charge for the filing fee for the request for the notice for the not exceed $10 for each lease covered by the request, added in Acts 1993. Subchapter E, Enforcement Judicial Review. Section 89-121, enforcement by the Commission. In addition, with the power of the specifically granted the Commission under the chapter of the Commission may enforce with the chapter any of the rule of the order of the Commission adopted under the chapter in the same member of the same conditions provided in the other chapter of the Title 3 of this code. Civil penalties collected with the violation with the chapter of the rules relating to the plugging, but they are adopted under the code with the deposit within the General Revenue Fund. Acts 1977 and Acts amended in Acts 2011. In Section 89-122 of the Appeals Court, any person affected by the provision of the chapter may sue for the test for the validity of any order of the adopted of the Commission under the chapter of the same manner with the same condition of the same court with the courts as prescribed for suit of testing validity of order of the Commission adopted under the General Oil Conservation Statute of the state. And that's Acts 1977. And this was Section 89. Abandoned wells.